start with one Darius Garland. Jason, there have been a couple rumors circulating via Twitter, and who knows the validity of a Twitter report about teams sniffing around about the availability of Darius Garland. We know over the summer, Cleveland had at least entertained the idea of trading Darius Garland. They never pulled the trigger, never found a deal they liked enough to actually trade away their all-star point guard, but it is back in the news. He's only played 9 games this season. What's your take on these rumors and whether or not now, if ever, is the right time for Cleveland to part ways with DG?
I'm trying to think of the most polite way to say this. There's not a market for him. And had they been able to move him, they probably would have. But where they're at with their salary with the apron and where he's at with his foot injury and with his contract, it's not a great combination. So there's just not a ton of interest for him. So the idea that there's this demand for Darius Garland just doesn't make any sense to me. It's nobody's going to touch that contract right now, especially, with this foot not being 100%. And I mean, I was talking to somebody in the league a couple of days ago about him, and his reputation is abysmal defensively. And I was even surprised at some of what I was hearing in terms of how he's viewed. So he's a fantastic offensive player and a tremendous scorer. But on the defensive side, it's remarkable to me how much the league's constantly evolving, right? And the league is now just turning into these giants who can do so many different things that it really puts you at a disadvantage when you're that size and with the injury history that he has. So I just think it's a non-starter because there's no market for him. And the contract that they gave him, they kind of had to give it to him at the time. So I'm not knocking him for the contract because at the time he was coming off his rookie deal and he was in a really great spot, and the league was a little bit different just a few years ago as well. So I get why they gave it to him. I just don't think there's a market for him.
Jason, I couldn't agree more. And I am not necessarily anti-trading Darius Garland. I think for the right deal, you have to at least consider it. But right now, I can't find a deal based on his current value and what I've been told from guys around the league that makes sense. I mean, look at the numbers on your screen here. He signed that rookie max extension. He's making just shy of $40 million this year. He's making 42 and change in 26-27. He's making almost $45 million in 27-28. He's an unrestricted free agent after that. So for the 28-29 season, he's an unrestricted free agent. We talk about the restrictions of the second apron, how hard it is to put together a team under those second apron constraints because teams don't want to be restricted by going into that. He's coming off a toe injury. To me, he hasn't looked fully healthy yet this season. Maybe a week off and going through practice and not even a game will get him closer and closer to being the old DG. But this year, he has not looked like the old DG. And Jason, you mentioned the on-off numbers. He's only played 9 games this year. So it's a small sample size. So granted, small sample size, but it's a knock over my water bottle. Look at this. This is the difference Darius on and off court this year. When Darius has been on the court this season, the Cavs have an offensive rating of 112.7. It's not great. Their defensive rating is 119.2. That is not good whatsoever. When DG's on the court, they have a minus 6.5 net rating, regardless of who he's playing with, just with DG on the court. When DG has not been on the court, their offensive rating is actually better, despite the fact it appears the offense flows much better when Darius is in the game. Their defensive rating goes from 119.2, which is in the bottom 6 of the league, to 110.7, which would be top 10 in the league. They have a plus 5.4 net rating, meaning the difference per 100 possessions for the Cavs this season, Jason, when Darius is on the court versus off the court, is damn near 12 points. So who's trading for an undersized point guard with an injury history who's not playing particularly well? And the numbers say the Cavs are 12 points better with him on the bench than they are with him on the court through 9 games this season. And once again, it's a small sample size. And when Darius is healthy, he is a crucial cog to this offense. He makes this offense what it's supposed to be, but he hasn't been that. So what's the value? And you can't just give Darius away. There aren't teams that just want to take on that kind of salary. There are only so many teams in the NBA that could even absorb any kind of salary without giving back some significant return. And what team, championship contender or tanking and building for the future, is going to give up the requisite assets to keep Cleveland in the championship contender status while subtracting Darius Garland that then fulfills both team needs? I just don't see the deal out there at the moment.
No, it doesn't. I don't think it exists. I don't think it existed over the summer. I think they looked. I don't think there was a match over the summer, and nothing has changed since then. And when you talk about the second apron and how hard that is to make a deal, to get a deal done, you know, the DeAndre Hunter deal, the Cavs last year we may look back as last year was their best chance to win because that Hunter deal got them out of the luxury tax at the time, but it thrust them into the second apron this year. And teams are avoiding that like the plague. And teams that go into that realize how restraint it is, what a restraint that it is. So while the Hunter trade served a purpose and like he's a good player and he helps them, it has also restrained what they can do moving forward. And I don't know. I don't know what their way out of this is. You know, I'm still worried. December 11th. So let's give it another month. We keep saying let's give it another month, but I haven't seen anything that tells me that they're gonna figure this out and go on a tear. But I mean, you could have said the same thing. We keep using the Pacers as the example. We got to try and come up with a different one or a better one of a team that was sort of middling and fumbling around and trying to find its way at the halfway point, and then just went on an absolute tear through March, April, and May, because that's what everyone is sort of expecting or asking this team to do right now. Because this doesn't look anything close to the best team in the East at this point. No,
they've been disappointing. They're 14-11. I do think they've been on the wrong side of some bad luck. I haven't seen the updated numbers since Monday, but as of Monday, when the Cavs had played their most recent game, they were 22nd in the NBA in three-point efficiency and 10th. Opponents were shooting the 10th best percentage in the league against any team. So even if you just have a little bit of regression there to the means, Cavs shoot a little better, other teams shoot a little worse. Even if you get to the even 15-15 mark, they probably have 2 or 3 more wins, Jason. 17-8 as opposed to 14-11 feels a lot different. For this Cavs team. They haven't been healthy. Like I'm not waving the white flag here, but the way they're playing, the inconsistency of which they are playing with, is a real cause for concern. And I think big picture wise, looking long term down the road, if Darius does not return to being the Darius of old, if this toe injury is going to continue to hinder him night in and night out, and regardless of what the Cavs say, Jason, if you watch even in these 9 games, there are 2, 3, 4 possessions in every game where it looks like Darius is visibly wincing because of the toe. It's more of a discomfort thing than a pain thing. But he said he's playing with a steel plate underneath in his shoe to protect that toe. It may never go away. And if Darius isn't Darius, and he's shooting in the 30% range for both 3 and the field goal right now, which is not good enough. If Darius isn't Darius of old, this team has no chance to win a championship. No chance whatsoever. So they need him to get back to being DG of old, because when DG of old is in the fold, that rhymed, the Cavs offense is one of the best the NBA's ever seen. When he's not, they can't combine a subpar offense and make up for the defensive liability that he is and compete with the best teams in the NBA.
I do think some of those numbers will adjust as he gets more court time. The on-off that you saw, that's glaring. The off-court numbers are the on-court defensive numbers. I don't know if they're going to get how much better they'll get. But certainly the offensive numbers should improve with him on the floor as he finds a rhythm. And you hope that this toe thing doesn't linger all year, but you just don't know. But they need Max back. They need they really need to make a move that I don't think exists. But if they could get more size and a two-way type player who can shoot a little bit, I just don't know. I don't think that exist. Like, I think this is who they are. And it was a very quiet summer, and I think it's going to be a very quiet trade deadline for them as well.
Let's get to our next topic here.